Hey everybody, welcome to the last day here at Wizard World. I'm Mike from Mike McGTV. This is Dan from the Three Geeks, and we have a special guest today, Mr. Brad Jones.
Hey, how you doing?
From Stone Gremlin Productions, home of 80s Dan.
Like that was your go-to top choice.
I can't think of any other character.
It feels like the last day, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does feel like the last day.
It feels like a Sunday.
But of course, the Cinema Snob being the title character for that site at the cinemasnob.com.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And I gotta say, for me and Dan, this is kind of a big honor.
Well, thank you.
As it were. You had some questions to kind of ask our guest.
First, I'm just going to geek out and say that I love your stuff, dude.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I've watched it for years, and I've found like all the Video Nasty stuff like 10 years ago and went through it, so I feel your pain.
Some of that stuff's great, man. You got yourself a copy of Driller Killer yet?
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Well, you can find Driller Killer like publicdomainarchive.org.
It's
like,
you just watch it on YouTube if you want. Do I watch the Snob episode or the whole movie on YouTube?
Oh, both. Watch one and the other.
Yeah.
Right. What got you started in this? Like, what made you think, man, I want to both make movies and like just review awful things?
Drugs.
What answer?
No, I started out making movies. I made my first movie in like 2003, and before then, me and my friends would do all these like ad-lib short movies and everything. So I started out wanting to be an exploitation filmmaker, and I made a few. I made a serial killer movie called Freak Out. I made a movie about snuff films called Cheap, and I made a cop movie called Midnight Heat. And then in 2008. I had a lot of like free time. I was working a part-time job, and like YouTube had just kind of gotten big. And at the time, there wasn't a lot in the way of like people talking about exploitation movies, like comedically. And that was like pretty much 90% of like my video collection at home. So it's like, I'd like to, kind of comedically spotlight a lot of these movies. So I started doing this show called the Cinema Snob that's like a riff show and like satirizing like highbrow reviews of like exploitation movies, like the kind of like really kind of sort of snooty review you wouldn't really see for that kind of movie necessarily. So it got people interested in a lot of that stuff, and it gave people a good laugh. And I did it for a couple of years, because I just loved doing it. And then in 2009 or 10, I was able to start doing it like as my full-time job. So that really worked out, and I still make movies too.
Yeah. And now I was actually curious about the making movies part. In the beginning, when you had to kind of get all the budget and get all the resources for yourself now, it's like, what would you say has been one of the biggest things with, say, crowdfunded movies?
From my experience on crowdfunding,
you've had a couple, or at least one.
We're going to start another one here probably in a couple of weeks. But the movies that I've directed are all like even below micro budgeted. I directed a movie last year called Disco, and it was like a $5,000 budget, man.
Right.
And most of that was just to pay the discotheque. So my really, honestly, my style of directing is about the same as it was in 2003. But when it's a much bigger, because I wouldn't know what to do with a bigger budget. So like when it's a much bigger budget, like Jesus Bro or the Snob movie, it's my one of my best friends and my business partner too, Ryan Mitchell-Lee. He directs those. So we did a movie last year, it was released last year, called Jesus Bro, that was a parody of like Pure Flix movies like God's Not Dead and Saving Christmas and War Room and all of those. And Ryan's a professional director. He went to film school for it. He's also an editor over at the Asylum, and he's worked on a lot of like Dean Devlin TV projects. So once the crowdfunding came in for that movie, which I think we got like a $55,000 budget for it or something, which is huge for us. It's like really, really big for us. Then Ryan was in charge of all that, and he had his crew from all the different other movies he's worked on. So really, the hard part was Ryan. I had it easy. I co-wrote.
You just wrote the thing.
Yeah, I wrote it, and I acted in it, but it's a supporting character. So I really I had a pretty cushy job on that. The Lord was on my side for that film.
You're a believer now.
You had to learn to make a perfect basketball shot from like any angle.
Oh,
There we go.
yeah.
That's what you had to do.
That was a fun scene to do. that was fun to do. The back of my head was bleeding during that scene too, because I had to buy a cheap razor from the gas station,
right.
and oh crap! Oh man! Oh, this isn't in the shot. Like it looks like you're just continually passing us a joint. Someone gonna take this, man?
I mean, this could serve as a makeshift roach clip at
Yeah.
any point, so it's like, yeah.
Jesus, bro's pretty far out, man.
Well, puff, puff, give. Here you go.
All right. What was your favorite review that you've made? Not the favorite movie, but
Sure, yeah. Favorite review. The one for Wired. I like that one a lot.
Okay.
Wired was this John Belushi biopic, and I use that in the loosest of terms.
we
talked
know
about
we've covered
Yeah,
it.
it's a total WTF Hollywood movie, man. And so I got a lot of really good. I've seen the movie before. I saw it when it first came out, and watching it again though, I was like, man, I can't imagine what I called Rob Walker, or I didn't call him, but the next time I saw Rob Walker, I said to him, like, if I ever tragically go, will you promise to make a movie about me that's exactly like this? Like I wake up in the morgue and my spirit is with a cab driver named Angel, and they got to play pinball on whether or not I'm going to the afterlife or not. Mixed in with me dying of heroin, because I guess that's what I die of, even if that's not what I die of.
And Cinema Snob sketches that never actually happened.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, totally. Like sketches that never even happened. And Rob, they do that in Wired. And Rob was like, took out his hand, was like, deal. I got to be really analytical with that review. And it was a pretty serious subject matter.
Yeah.
And
Supposed to be anyway.
Yeah. So there was a lot of things to say about that movie and what they were trying to do. And so I thought that was a really really good episode. The one for Miss Velma, I like that one.
Oh, that's Christmas
Nice.
special.
Miss
yeah,
Velma's
yeah.
Christmas.
She fires a live gun on stage.
It's crazy. The thing comes across like it's a Wicker Man Christmas special. It's insane. It's absolute insanity on stage. She fires a live gun on stage. I'm like, whoa, public access was different in the 80s.
Now I want to see a Wicker Man Christmas special. That sounds awesome.
Watch Miss Velma. That's about what you're going to get.
Yep, your
Pop,
turn.
give it
Yeah,
in.
there you go.
With regards to, say, Cinema Snob episodes in particular, I've talked to a couple people who, do a lot of online programming or internet sketch, comedy, content review, whatever. Do you have a specific process in which, specifically for Cinema Snob episode, you kind of break down how you're going to approach the movie? Like, is there a ritual, let's say, of writing the script or anything like that?
Sacrificing animals.
Yeah, exactly. Bathing in the blood of an innocent.
I got a quick turnaround time with my show, because my show is it's quicker to put together than a lot of different ones are, because there's no I don't really have any sketches in mind. There's no After Effects really that are put in, and it's pretty rare whenever stuff like that will happen on my show. So my post-production on mine is really not that long compared to a lot of other shows. So it's a 2-day process for me. One day to watch the movie, take my notes, write the episode, and then film the episode. And then the second day I edit. And each of those are maybe about a 6-hour process. So give or take. It usually depends on how long the episode is. And as far as the writing of it goes, tone varies from episode to episode.
Right.
There's episodes like Maniac and Friday the 13th that really amp up the Cinema Snob personality. And then there's ones like the porno spoofs and bad kids movies that just kind of are riff heavy. they're like video riffs, and the bad kids movies tend to be a bit angrier sometimes,
Right.
and the character's more annoyed. And then there's ones like Wired, or especially the religious movies that are a bit more analytical and kind of break down the movies a bit more and their messages and everything. So it is kind of a different mindset depending on what the movie is. But that's how the show evolves over the years. That's how it stayed, because this show's been on for 11 years. So it's how the show stays fresh. It's also how, you know, I remain interested in it, because I get to do all kinds of different episodes on it.
Yeah.
For a show that's just a guy sitting in a chair, like snarking at a movie.
Was there ever a point where you? Thank you.
God.
Thank you, Jesus.
I knew God was Kato Kalin. I've been saying it since the 90s. It's true. God, Kato Kalin, God is shining down on us. He agrees.
Yeah, there you go. Wow, he is carrying up. We'll get this wrapped up here really quick. Was there a point where you're kind of like, maybe I should try something different, or was there a point where you're kind of like, nah, Cinema Snob, this is...
Yeah, I mean, different in the sense of adding other shows, not different in the, like, oh, I'm going to cancel the Cinema Snob and do something else, because I still love doing it. Like, I still love doing the show, and I have no intention on stopping it anytime soon. Because it's, I really love doing it. If anything, just watching a lot of these movies is out of curiosity alone, you know? So, but, you know, I've been doing it for over a decade, so I still do other projects as well. Like, I got my Lloyd, the animated series about a private detective cat.
Yeah.
We do a movie about every year. We got one we're making in the fall, and I got another really low budget one I'm going to be directing probably later this year too. And we've got our midnight screenings reviews.
Yeah. Those are really, I enjoy those quite a bit, just because it is the raw, like, after the experience, and you're just getting it unfiltered pretty much.
That's about my favorite thing to do. It is the easiest. It gets me out of the house. I sit in the car, talk about new movies with my friends. I got like 3 once I get back to Springfield on Tuesday. I got to make it up and see a few
that's
movies.
right. There were quite a few. Yeah.
Ocean's 8, Hotel Artemis, and Hereditary. I got to see those.
I saw Hereditary Thursday night.
Right on.
Okay.
I watched your review and I'm like, man, I got to see this.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to that.
You have one more, maybe?
I have one oddly philosophical question.
Yeah.
Why do we like bad movies? 'Cause I'm in the same boat.
Sure.
Be like, hey, do I watch Citizen Kane or Prom Night 2?
Prom Night 2.
Prom Night 2.
Yeah.
There you go.
I think it comes down to what the person finds more entertaining. Like, really, I think that's just the crux of it, and whatever your taste is. If you like really over-the-top movies, if you kind of grew up on slasher movies like I did, it's just what you find more fun, really. And yeah, it depends on mood, too. Like, I don't know, maybe sometime you're in the mood for, like, I guess I haven't seen Citizen Kane in like 20 years. Maybe I should pop that on again. But that's really what I think it is. It's just what people find more entertaining and what gives them a good time. Because those kind of movies they're good party movies.
Yeah,
you know,
fair enough.
Yeah, they're good movies to get together with your friends. It was the same in the '80s too when these movies came out. Like when they came out, when like Prom Night 2 comes out in theaters. Your friends get together, they get drunk, and they go see Prom Night 2 in the movie theater. Like especially in the early '80s when they were doing that 3D trend, like around '83. You know, you get drunk, you go see Friday the 13th 3D. I think that's largely what it comes down to.
You need a harpoon in the face sometimes. It's like, yeah.
I actually searched my house for a copy or a pair of 3D glasses to watch your
right on.
3D review.
Me too. Honestly, when I saw that, it was like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, I have something here that could possibly work, and I was like, oh, but it's on my laptop screen, so it's...
I just did that for Freddy's Dead as well. I did the same thing that I did with Friday the 13th 3D, which is I just went down to the dollar store and grabbed a bunch of products that I could throw at the camera. Like, we have a paddle ball now, honey. We own this now.
Yay.
Yeah. The things you got to put into for your art, as it were. It's like, but I just wanted to say, personally, it's been a pleasure to just get to sit down and ask some questions, pick your brain a little bit, because you're actually one of the reasons that I first got into YouTube stuff to begin with. I was on Blip for a while.
Oh,
personally,
okay. Yeah.
Back in the day. And it was
Yeah.
because I was watching your content and a couple of other people like Phalis and
Thank
things
you.
like that. And
Yeah.
I was very much like, I'll give this a shot. And then apparently, like, these guys kind of were like, hey, Mike's on there. Let's
Yeah.
follow suit. And so we owe you quite a bit, honestly.
Thank you very much, man.
And thanks for the DVD. I watched it last night, and
I hated it.
you weren't kidding. It is some raw stuff. Like,
The Bat Pussy
the Bat
one.
Pussy one. Yeah. Oh man.
That'd be funny if you were talking about Jesus, bro. That shit was raw, dude.
That's raw for completely different reasons.
I left a copy of it over at Kevin Sorbo's table yesterday.
Oh.
Like, he was doing a panel yesterday, so I went over there and wrote a note. I was like, hey man, like our movies, like coincidentally, kind of have a similar plot line.
Just
you need
coincidental.
no, it really is just a coincidence that they Let There Be Light and Jesus, bro, have similar plot lines. But like, I wrote down like, if you need a good laugh or anything, here's this, and then I signed the DVD. I was like, I hope it doesn't leave you disappointed.
Oh, nice.
And just the picture of that face he makes when he says it.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well,
I hope he watches it.
yeah, I kind of hope so too. It's a bold move on your part, a bold move on his part to actually like, all right, bring on the hurt. Let's see what it's like.
Yeah.
But
Then he watches it and he likes it. And he's
Yeah.
like,
If he
hey.
digs it,
Hey.
yeah.
why the Dove Foundation?
Yeah, I don't
Or
understand
he
this at
doesn't
all.
Because it's the DVD cover that's got Dove Foundation quotes on it. One of them is like, there was a man's bare shoulders in a tub. Like, oh. So someone please think of the children.
I think, yeah.
I would think it was it would be because he dropped the Bible in the tub and then he picked it back up again. You know.
That might have also been in there. Like it was a giant list of things, and we picked like the best ones. And so that might have been in there as well.
Waterlogged Bible. I don't know how you'd even say that. Anyway.
Well, I don't know. I don't have any more questions.
I don't.
Con's about to
I'm
begin.
just sitting over here talking. It's fine.
Yeah, we have to get to doing a business of commerce and so forth.
Before
so.
Kato Kalin interrupts us.
Yeah.
That's all.
Before he actually shows up here for the interview, it's like, what are you guys talking about? He'll do it too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's a really nice guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks, man.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks a bunch.
Yeah, been a pleasure.
Dude, pleasure.
Check out more Wizard World. If you gonna be sticking around the Wizard World circuit for a while, or
I've got this is like my 5th one this year, and I've got Chicago and Madison coming up later on in the year.
so be on the lookout for the Cinema Snob around those areas, or the cinemasnob.com, or at YouTube at Stone Gremlin Productions. Right. All right. Thank you so much, Brad.
Thank you, man.